Um, 2.5 is really a lot of the same stuff that you took on Chapter 2 Test Part 1, but we had some extra stuff in 2.5. We talked about complex zeros. So when I say find all the zeros, I mean real and complex, which means it's okay to get imaginary answers. You will get imaginary answers. You got to do the PRZ stuff, right? Remember all that fun stuff? PRZ, plug them in, find what works. That's so exciting. The other new thing that we did in section 2.5 is sometimes they say find all zeros, where you just write answers like x equals 2i, x equals negative 2i, x equals 7, right? But if it says write as a linear factorization, remember that you have to write it as a product of its factors. So if these were the zeros, the linear factorization would be x minus 2i, x plus 2i, x minus 7. So pay attention to what the directions are asking you. Don't miss points because you wrote this and you didn't write this. Or you wrote this and you were supposed to write this. And the other thing that we did, and I think I have some papers to pass back to you today, like the worksheet that you did over break. But the other thing we did in that section was given zeros, write the function. We had this on Chapter 2 Test Part 1, but the difference is now I can give you imaginary zeros. So I could say write the function given the zeros 2 and 7i. If you just write the function with 2 and 7i, you're going to get the wrong answer because you have to remember if 7i is a 0, negative 7i is also a 0. Conjugate, actually. Conjugate. So you would say x minus 2, x minus 7i, x plus 7i. Don't forget that it's a function, so you have to say y equals or f of x. All right, take a point off. And what else? You got to actually multiply it out, right? Yeah. Just like the last test, only difference is it's imaginary now. That's like the front page of your test right there, 2.5. Then the rest of this chapter we've done this week. So 2.5 we did before fall break, but the rest of this half of the chapter we've done this week, so hopefully it's kind of fresh in your mind. You don't have to review too much. I don't have a whole lot to say about this stuff, but rational equations, be able to give me the domain. The beginning of this worksheet today, the first couple questions just said find the domain. There are a couple questions on your test like that. And I gave you one on the worksheet where the domain was all real numbers, because that can happen. If the denominator only gives you imaginary asymptotes, then the domain is all real numbers. Asymptotes, remember all three types. Vertical asymptotes, you set the denominator equal to 0. Horizontal asymptotes is where you have to know those rules of the degree of the numerator compared to the degree of the denominator. And slant asymptote, if there's no horizontal asymptote, that means there's a slant asymptote, and you have to do longer synthetic division. And there will be questions that just say find all the asymptotes. And there will definitely be a slant asymptote. Are you ready?
Yeah, I got it all.
And you'll have to graph. I'm just going to kind of talk while I get her long enough.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yep.
Domain. What did you say? When is that like for what?
The domain is just what x can't be. So it's like everywhere but your asymptote. Okay, you were doing something. Did you turn the bottom blocker off?
So like what makes it 0 on the bottom?
Miss Dixon, did you get our homework quizzes?
I didn't.
I think so. Whoa.
Oh, stats.
No stats. She said she wasn't going to.
I'm so
Hey,
mad.
you told me to ask her. I wouldn't have known it.
Really?
Why you being
When I
so
called back and
busy?
told him he was yelled out, I was like, you
Mr.
seriously
Love
broke my
called
password. Yep.
I don't
I'm
think
so
they-
stressed
I
about
hope
it.
Terry kicks us all the way up. Mr. Love was like, ooh, salty.
He was so frustrated. He was very frustrated, and I yelled at him about giving my password. I was like, seriously, you're a proctor, you're not supposed to give the password out.
Then I told Mr. Love that. I was like,
In U.S. history yesterday, Mr. Love he didn't know his password to give the active placer, so he gave my password. And instead of doing it for everyone, which is what you're supposed to do, he just screamed it out to everyone, my password. Which might be my password for my whole life, so now people can steal my identity.
I'm going to have to ask someone.
What? No, it's like ridiculous numbers and letters. Like, Mr.
Oh, what she said? Do you remember? Does that mean like the bottom? Bottom can you go?
No.
It's
like Oh man, we're not prepared for this. You're also going to have to graph these just like the ones we just did on that worksheet. You will have to graph one that has 2 vertical asymptotes. I'll even tell you that much.
I'm gonna find your Instagram.
I'm not on Instagram.
I did different tests.
Said maybe her password for her entire life.
It's really not.
He probably.
But do you have, I don't know how many passwords you guys have for your life
One.
because,
Yeah, I have
Email,
one for
Instagram,
everything.
Facebook.
but I have a version of the same one for everything. You know, like either you do it twice
Yeah.
or you do,
Or
like yesterday, the one that he had to do, like it's my password and then you hold shift down and do it again. And he's like, what does that even mean? And I was like, it takes care of like the requirement when you need a capital letter or a symbol. You just hold shift down and do it again. And so when I go log in something and I forget my password, I just have like the same password I try a million different ways. And
I just have it one way.
password.
iTunes.
Mine's for every little thing I actually have. It's your what? I think mine started on MySpace and then it got to.
Okay. 2-7, we solved rational equations. We did do some like this that we had quadratic answers, so don't think that they should all be factorable on the test, because probably one will be quadratic. But remember, you just find the common denominator, multiply through, so we can say multiply by least common denominator. Don't forget to check your answers. Probably I'm going to put at least one on there that one of your answers is extraneous, just to see if you remember to check your answers. And solving inequalities. Don't forget to exclude your asymptotes, right? You have to say, what can't x be? Solve the equation, set up your intervals. That's the whole test. Not so bad, right?
Not that bad. Not good. It's not okay like that.
Joe Masters told me he likes math to an extent.
He's
To an extent. He likes math.
What is that?
This is your review assignment. You have, I believe we did 2-5 day 1, 2-5 day 2, and then we have 2-6, 2-7, 2-8, and then this review assignment will be the homework that you turn into me on Tuesday when we take this test. This review assignment is due on Monday, and on Monday I will walk around and see how much you have done, and then we will talk about any and all questions that you have, and then we'll take the test on Tuesday. Tuesday is a Pride Time day, which means you lose 6 minutes of class time on Tuesday. So that means get your butt in here quickly after first hour, turn your homework in, get your test, so that you can have as much time as possible to do your test. Okay? But I was recording the whole time that I was back there working.